In this video, we will review the organization of our speech outline, and we will begin writing the paragraphs for the body of our speech. We will write the intro and conclusion paragraphs later. Let's look at the boxes and bullets outline we created last time. At this point, we need to decide if we like the organization of the paragraphs. I think I want to switch the first two paragraphs because I think talking about the horns first will better capture the attention of my audience. Then I can tell them about how easy the cattle are to raise, and I can finish with the paragraph about riding them. So here's my boxes and bullets outlined with those first two paragraphs rearranged. In the first stage of the writing process, where we generate ideas, we also spend time organizing our ideas. A good writer organizes his writing to help the reader make sense of the text. Each box and bullets represents one paragraph. The main idea is in the box, and the supporting details are the bullets. The main idea in the box will become the topic sentence for the paragraph, and the supporting details will become the detailed sentences of the paragraph. Let's practice with my first paragraph about horns. This paragraph is about horns, but horns alone is not a good topic sentence. Or is it? Actually, horns might be a good first sentence for my paragraph. Sometimes a one-word sentence can be an effective way to capture the attention of the reader. I think I will use this idea for paragraph 1, but I'll need to write a second sentence that works with the short one to create a strong topic sentence. Horns. When you see Texas Longhorn cattle grazing in a field, the first thing you notice is those horns. I like this. Now I have 4 bullet points, 4 supporting details that will become my detailed sentences to prove that these horns really are noteworthy. In this case, the first 2 bullet points are related, closely related, so I think I'll work on those 2 together. The bullet points are not complete sentences, so I rewrite them in complete sentences. They often grow up to 7 feet from tip to tip. However, a Texas Longhorn who lives in Australia holds the record at 10 feet from tip to tip. Notice this sentence flows from my topic sentence. I included the detail about the Longhorn in Australia because I think it's funny that the record-holding Texas Longhorn doesn't live in Texas, but halfway around the world in Australia. Now I take my 3rd bullet point and write a sentence, a complete sentence using that information. The tips of the horns usually turn up or down, and sometimes even end in a corkscrew. In this bullet, I wasn't sure what the word manipulate meant, so I looked it up. I used this information when I wrote the sentence for this bullet point. These clever animals can use their horns to move objects around and to scratch themselves. Those are all my bullet points, all my supporting details. But we know that when we write a paragraph, we need to include a closing sentence to wrap it up. A good paragraph has a strong topic sentence, several supporting sentences with details about the topic, and a closing sentence to complete the paragraph. The closing sentence should relate back to the topic sentence. Often, the closing sentence restates the topic sentence. Those longhorns really are impressive. This relates to the topic sentence. In the topic sentence, we stated that the first thing you notice on these cattle are their horns. Now we're saying the horns are impressive. Closing sentences also include transition words to the next paragraph, but we'll come back to that later. The first draft of the first body paragraph of my speech is finished. It probably isn't perfect, but I can always make a few changes later on. I followed the same steps to write my other 2 paragraphs. As I look them over, I am not completely satisfied with them, but at least they are well organized. If I wanted, I could start doing a little revising. For example, I noticed in paragraph 2, I started most of my sentences with the same word, they. That's boring. I will want to vary my sentence openers. But for now, I have a solid first draft of the 3 body paragraphs for my speech. Let's review. In this lesson, we reviewed our boxes and bullets outline and decided to change the order of the first 2 paragraphs. We wrote the first body paragraph using the main idea in the box to create the topic sentence, and the bullet points as our supporting details. We wrote the remaining body paragraphs for our speech following the same steps.